Welcome, explorers. I am Marilee, host of Cosmic Brilliance, and I am so glad you are joining us today for our special guest who is returning, Elena Danaan, who will share her experiences and amazing expertise on three interrelated topics that are all current and I hope you will find very exciting. These topics that we will be covering are the history of the Starseed Envoy program that began 3 decades ago, the return of the 24-seeder/founder race that contributed to our human genetics, along with the Council of Five's influence. And you will also learn more about the 9 giant space arcs that are activating right now and contain within them amazing things that I'm going to let Elena explain that will have a huge positive impact on truth disclosure. I believe many of you are attracted to Elena's shows and Cosmic Brilliance shows because it is likely that you yourselves may be what we call star seed or envoys. And we will be having Elena define all the terms used so you won't have any confusion. Elena, as many of you know, is multilingual and, oh my God, multi-talented. She is a professional archaeologist, an epigraphist, an artist, best-selling multiple books that are extraordinary. One I'm going to share with you shortly, a shaman, a druidess, and what really impacts us is the official emissary of the Galactic Federation of Worlds and is directly connected to Commander Thorhan of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, who's a 5th density commander. She's also amazing and accurately, artistically drawing in especially her first book, but all her books, accurate multi-species. And by the way, she and I are modeling for you 2 of her hand-designed shirts that represent 2 of the topics that we will be covering today. I would love for you to support Elena because through her books and through her creative clothing and other treasures is one of the few ways that she can keep going the 20 hours a day that she does. So welcome back, Elena, and so happy you are here. And I know how busy you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marilee. I'm always looking forward to do broadcasts with you because it's always not only extreme fun, but also you are always asking amazing questions and it's always very informative for everyone. So looking forward to this one too. Let's go.
Coming from you, that is quite an honor because you're like the cosmic sage and bard. Really, you are. So everyone, first of all, what we are going to be discussing is towards the end of one of Elena's books called Resilience. And this is a teaser I'm doing for her because it will give you some more details that have not been previously spoken about having to do with the Envoy and Starseed program. So please make sure and buy and check that out as well as her other books. So Elena, I'm going to start by having you define terms. What exactly is an envoy and a starseed? Okay, so start there.
Well, starseed is the term created on Earth to explain what it is really about. Seed of a star, or seed from the stars. It's very poetic and metaphorical. It's beautiful expression. The real term is envoy or volunteers. Volunteers is also a term we could qualify us. And envoy is really the term by which the ETs are qualifying this program. So that's about the term.
When did this program start? The Envoy program. When was it set into motion and by who?
The Envoy program was generated in our timeline on Earth 4 decades ago, sorry, more or less. But this was planned very much earlier in time. They planned that for the future because this goes back to the Orion Wars. So I may tell you quickly the story. Why the Envoy program, the Star Seeds program, as we call it here, is linked to the Orion Wars. Well, let me tell you about what the Orion Wars were about. This happened several hundreds of thousand years in the past regarding to our linear time. You need to keep in mind that even if you don't understand it, it's okay, because we have this three-dimensional mind, which of this body we are incarnating to. But the notion of time in this galaxy is different regarding to where you are. Several hundred of thousands of years in the past, it's regarding to how we would count it. Long time ago anyway. In the Orion zone, there is a nebula there, M42 nebula. And this nebula has a portal that is very special. This is a double vortex portal, means it's a time portal, but you can also use it to go to dimensions. Normally, you cannot go with other regular natural portals. You can even project yourself into the void behind all dimensions. So this, whoever runs it, whoever possesses the access of this portal is extremely powerful. That's what the Orion Wars were about getting this portal. Who wanted it? Well, first it was neutral zone used by all the star systems of the Orion zone, were very teeming with life. It's very, very inhabited. There's a lot of star systems there. People were just, going along their lives, having their little, maybe little wars, but not really. And in different star systems, Betelgeuse, Rigel, and Mintaka, Greys started to grow and develop their civilizations. And the Greys wanted the portal. They started to unite and became a more powerful power. And a war clashed between the Greys and the local populations for the portal. The local populations say, no, nobody has the uniqueness of the access to this portal. That was what it was about, the Orion Wars. All of this started because, well, the spark was, there was a group of resistance on a planet, a specific planet. This planet got blown up, as an example, with billions of lives just disintegrate like this. There was a group of resistance on a ship who were prisoners from this world. They were the only survivors, and they were the head of the rebel group, the rebellion, the resistance of this small planet. I can tell you that was the spark, because not only this small group managed to get out of imprisonment, they escaped, but they created the rebellion of the Orion systems. And this was known as the Black League, or the Orion League, the Black League. it was many star systems gathered together and they built resistance. The thing is that they were really struggling because, you know, they were not militaries, they were just civilians uniting to resist. So they were getting quite hammering from the Nebu, who were growing and growing and growing. The Nebu it's a hive consciousness. So each planet had a hive consciousness, and all the hive queens just merged together, and they were growing in power and power and power. What happened? What made the change is that on Al-Nilam, in the Al-Nilam system, in the Orion belt, the central star, there was a world where existed a very old council of sages, the Council of Nine. And these were created by a race called the Almanuk, very ancient race. And they were a gathering of 9 different cultures, very evolved spiritually, represented by 9 elders. And these people were like trying to maintain peace and balance. And they were not all from the Orion zone. They were from other zones in the galaxy as well. But Al-Nilam was the center. These were not military power. But because they were in a higher density, they couldn't be reached by the Nebu, the Orion grays. So they were safe. So they decided very quickly to help the rebellion, not by weapons they didn't have, but by wisdom. And they trained the rebellion as a spiritual fight. Like, you know, you could assimilate that as a Jedi from Star Wars. For the little story, Star Wars is inspired from the Orion Wars. So what happened is that despite this, the rebellion got destroyed because the Nebu were too strong. At the same time was the birth of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Because of the Nebu power growing, the galaxy had to just do something and get prepared. So the Galactic Federation of Worlds started to be formed at that time to create a power to respond. But it was already young and it couldn't yet, you know, get rid of the Nebu. So the Council of 9 got reduced to 5 because they also were touched. I don't know how, but they were just hammered by the Nebu as well, although they were in another density, but this happened. One race quitted and others were destroyed. The rebellion got hammered. What happened to the Council of 9, now 5, which is the symbol I wear on my sweatshirt tonight? It's where Anax works. They switched from 9 to 5, not only because of the Orion Wars, but also because once the rebellion was destroyed and the Nebu took over the whole Orion zone and the nebula, the Council of still 9, kind of dying to 5, these people try to they say, okay, we can't let that happen. They're going to take over the whole galaxy. We know the Galactic Federation is building, but we have the duty to do something to we couldn't stop them in Orion. Let's stop them to spread out into the whole galaxy. How to do that without military potential and without interfering with the greater law of non-intervention? That the Galactic Federation uses it as a law, but it's more than the Galactic Federation. This law of non-intervention, it's a law of ethics, and it concerns everyone. So how to do that? Not touching the law of non-intervention and not using any military power, which would be ridiculous at that time. So that's when they definitely got from 9 to 5 members, because some members said, no, I'm off. We're off. It's too dangerous. We're not doing that. We can't do that. I mean, that's craziness. So the 5 that last, they said, well, we have an idea. Why wouldn't we try that? The Nebu are going to spread out throughout the whole galaxy. Let us send an army. Let us send a call for an army to the whole galaxy to gather, but not military, an army who would incarnate into the local populations of all the worlds threatened by the Nebu. And it would be a ground army among the locals that would be needed that would need to awaken to who they truly are and fight back the Nebu from the inside. And that was the Envoy program. So yeah, so that's the history of the Envoy program, how it was created.
That is so great to have those details. Now, folks, some of you know when she mentions Annex as being one of the members of the Council of Five, that is actually, if I may say, Elena's extraterrestrial genetic father, who is loving and benevolent. And so she has those genes coming in to this planet as a envoy starseed herself, correct? Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
correct.
So we do know that the Orion Wars lasted for a long time. Like you said, it was temporal, which folks means that it evolves and bleeds out into other dimensions, timelines, all that kind of thing. Now, the Nebu are the tall grays and the grays. Do you want to explain for people a little bit what that means? You said it's hive consciousness because they're kind of insectoid, correct?
Yes, it's they're reptiloid, but they work on an insectoid mind consciousness. It's a hive. They are species of their own, the grays. So they have reptiloid genome that they have a insectoid-like hive consciousness. They're not always reptiloid nature, but most of them. Who are the Nebu? Nebu means in their language, their official language, the masters or the dominions. The dominion. They are all tall grays. You have the Eban, the Grails, the other races. I don't have all the names now, just right now. The Queen is an artificial intelligence, but which is organic. It's an organic, natural things to them, but she's an AI, in fact. Not artificial, because artificial intelligence means artificial, created not by the source creator as life, but created technologically. Okay, that's what artificial intelligence is. Something, a consciousness, an intelligence created artificially by technology, not original life. But so she's an intelligence, I'd say, organic, artificial. Not artificial intelligence. She's like a spider. They work a lot with spider symbols and technologies. Something spiders and cubes, that's their thing. In the center of her web, and everything goes back to her and is connected to her. Okay. Each planet with a gray culture has its own hive, planetary hive at the start. But what happened in Orion is that a queen of a planetary hive got merged with another queen from another planetary hive. So the queen, it creates a unique, more powerful queen, and the two worlds were connected to her simultaneously. Then a third world, then a fourth world to the same one. And then they enslaved small grays from Zeta Reticuli, from Cygnus, from other places. They connected them to this hive consciousness. They can do that with grays, okay? Now, what they do, the Nebu as well, is they started to develop this plan on Earth. They also assimilate non-grays species, such as humans. How do they do that? Because humans cannot fit a hive consciousness. We are individuated consciousnesses. How do you do that? By modifying the genome of the person, but it's going to have an impact on the consciousness by implanting great technology, and it's still little micro spiders, it's their technology, to transform the genetic body to create hybrids that will be able to be interfaced with the hive. So now there's one queen, one hive consciousness, one hive queen. She's in the Orion Nebula next to the portal. And that is freaking dangerous because she has access to time and dimensions because she's got the portal. So that's the problem.
And this is also, is this how they also do the false matrix that was taken down for around our sector of space?
Yes, the false matrix, it's a construct, it's a holographic construct. You know, the whole universe is a holographic construct. Holographic doesn't mean illusion. It means a structure, a base, a skeleton of the reality. And so you can construct holographic matrices, or, you know, like on the top of another one to create an illusion. Holographic shields, that's how all the ships of everybody's cloaked with a holographic shield that you cannot see through. You see just what they want you to see. And the matrix that was put around Earth, it was very, very, very powerful because it's dismantled at the moment. Okay, what was that? It was an illusion maintained that it keeps us believing we are living in certain reality, but we're not. Okay, so it was a holographic construct, powered because you need to. It's a technology, you need to power it. There was a machine on the moon and on Saturn. Both have been taken down and dismantled. This technology doesn't exist anymore. That were kind of, it was not broadcasting, but it was maintaining it alive. But on the top of this hologram was imbued in it black goo. Black goo is something that exists naturally in the universe. It's a sort of organic intelligence, which is non-corporal. It's like a blob thing. You can find it in a natural state in the universe. It's quite dangerous. This black goo was embedded in this holographic matrix. They managed to embed black goo in it. What is black goo? It's an intelligence that you can bend and control. Okay. They did that. The Greys have freaking technology. They're super advanced. This black goo was trying to get as much people as possible plugged into it to be mentally controlled. And what was happening is that, well, this information now, what I'm starting to tell you about the black goo, and which I'm going to continue. I didn't get it by Thorhan. I didn't get it by the Federation or the Council of Five. I got it by the Nine. We'll talk about them later. Nothing to do with the Council of Five. The Nine, the plasmic supra-consciousnesses. Anyway, they showed me that last year. People got plugged into it. So they got people to be plugged into them. How? By sending baits. The spiritual movements on internet, YouTube and groups have been infiltrated by people who were grooming spiritual humans to channel and plug into this goo. And everyone was like intubated, like by the crown chakra, intubated to this black goo, and just downloading lies and crap. And the black goo would feed off their energy and their consciousness to enforce it. So it was, you would feed the black goo by your own life force and your own essence, and you would become a zombie and completely dependent and really, focus on it and emotional. And if somebody would tell that you've had, so they were taking all the the mythologies and the religions to entice people, like Jesus, Sananda, or Saint Germain, Hashtar. All that was psyops. Pleiadians, Arcturians, anyone, and they would say nice things to get you really hooked. And if someone would come along and say, "Hey, you're getting, you are manipulated, you're in danger," the person would become extremely aggressive, and that was a sign. So what happened when in February 2021 the machine on the moon and on Saturn were switched off because taken by the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance for the moon? Well, the matrix and the black goo on Earth got switch off, game over. But okay, not powered anymore, but still by the people still plugged in it. If you still keep on feeding this goo, it's not going to go. But if you stop feeding it, it dies naturally. It just withers and decomposes and just dissolves. So now it's down to us, everyone, to be reasonable, have discernment, and do not attempt wild channelings. Stop that. Just cut the cord. Otherwise, we've been cut from the Nebu hive, because the Nebu are here since the early 1950s. They have made agreements with 1955 with the MJ-12, Majestic 12, and the military-industrial complex, and other structures. They start this program of assimilating the Earth people by creating the hybridization program, creating a race of hybrids that could replace us in the near future. It's all planned, and now you have this. Now that have been kicked out, the hybrids. They're saying there are plenty of hybrids that are, I don't know where they are, still around, or maybe on Earth. I don't know where they are, and they are half Earthlings. Mm-hmm. And they say they have this implanted programming, like saying, "Welcome us back, welcome us. We are your descendant from the future," or whatever BS they say. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we are back in 1955, lads. Mm-hmm. Stop that. Do not consent. Do not welcome them in again.
Right.
You know?
So, and you've done some shows on that, folks. You can check out where she tells you the certain strategies they use, because I love Alex Collier, who you all know is an Andromedan emissary. And I love it when he said, Earth is boot camp for discernment. And human mammals tend to be very innocent and naive. And I just want to be clear, at that time with the Nebu, there was no Draco or reptilian coming through yet.
Around. No. Well, I don't know exactly when the reptilians were thrown into our dimension, but they weren't involved in the Orion Wars.
Yeah.
The reptilians, not all reptilians. What we call the Draco reptilians, they call themselves the Sikaar.
Right.
They are competitors to the Nebu. They are competitors, and they are associated with them for certain interests, such as Earth, but they're competitors. If one group could get rid of the other group, they'll be very happy.
It sounds like our corporations.
Yes.
But the good news, folks, just to be clear, is that the Great Galactic Federation, the Earth Alliance, and many others together have liberated so much of this control. So let's get back to the secret weapons, which is us. Am I right? It's saying there are 200 million star seeds that were needed to volunteer, which is like about 2.5% of the Earth's population now. Is that correct?
Yeah, at that moment on Earth, yes. Knowing that there's not only Earth, there's other parts in the galaxy where this program is also effective, where the Nebu are threatening populations. Earth is one of them, one of the main. of them. They are. I am aware of a second place in the galaxy, which is like Earth. It's a very concerning place. Anyway, so the secret weapons, yes, they were meant to awaken. It's like, the Nebu, they do their hybridization program. They create their hybrids. Well, let us create our army and infiltrate our armies even more deeper into the population by incarnating into local babies.
Okay, so I want you to back engineer this for me. And I want all of us to pretend like, or imagine would be a more accurate term, that we are infinite immortal souls and we're out there, and a call comes forth for a need for advanced beings and galactic humans, of which we actually are, to reincarnate a part of themselves down. So can you take us through that as much as you know about that? How that
yes, yes, this I know there's a very ancient being that is still alive today who had this idea in the Council of Five. Imagine I'm going to take you, to an imaginary journey, as if you are a volunteer. You received on your world, having a normal life, for everyone to be easy to imagine. Let's take the Pleiades, and you're a human being there on one of the planets in the Pleiades, and your government receives the call, and that resonates everywhere like holographic screens in every town and villages. A call sent by the Council of Five from Uruana, Orion. Council of Al-Nilam was also of Zagara, the name of the planet in the Al-Nilam system, Zagara, Council of Zagara. This call is, do you want to help get rid of the threat of the Nebu? Volunteer into the program, the Envoy program. Follow the steps of the Council of Five. We're going to guide you. Just register, blah, blah, blah. So you decide you want to volunteer into this big initiative that concerns the whole galaxy, which is a living organism, and you feel the call that you are part of it, and you want to do your bit of the job to help the family, the mother, because more advanced, not only more advanced, but enormously lots of people in this galaxy consider Nataru, the galaxy, like mother, the mother. Galaxies are mothers, like wombs. And it's a very beautiful idea. So you want to help mother to get rid of an infection. Although all life is sacred, but the Nebu are playing infection to trigger the law of balance. That's another story. Anyway, so you go to your wherever you need to register, and you are tested. You are to be sure that you're fit for it mentally, and when it is agreed, you are being prepared.
I heard, sorry to interrupt you for a second, but keep that train of thought. I heard from two sources that one of the requirements to come at this time in this tough of a game is that, I don't know how to say this, you had to prove a certain level of spiritual development, courage, and already success.
Yes. Oh, yes. It's a strict selection.
Yes. Can you speak to that as you're continuing?
Yes. To do that, you need to be very strong, very resilient, to have a very strong willpower. They train you with a basics of military set of mind. And you need also to register to a certain level of consciousness, because you need to be tough spiritually as well.
So is that like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th?
whatever density. It depends on the cultures, you know. For instance, some cultures will come from higher density as well, you know. So it depends. It's just a level of maturity in behavior, mind, also consciousness. Yeah, it's very strict because it's not just a holiday. So you passed the test, you were being prepared, and you be trained.
Was there enough people volunteering? Was there a huge amount volunteering? And so there was a lot of response.
Yes.
So
yes, a lot of response.
They could afford to be choosy, is my point.
Yes. Okay. They can afford to be choosy.
It's the nature of advanced souls to want to serve.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a propaganda as well, you know, the Council of Five run propaganda as well, you know, like to make everybody to concern everybody about most people as possible about the threat of the Nebu, you know, and what they were doing to other worlds, enslaving everyone, and about their program of taking over the galaxy. So, you know, there was this positive propaganda program as well. You could either wait to finish your life, people at the end of their lives deciding to reincarnate in local avatar bodies on the worlds where it was needed. That was one, the most natural solution, option. So that means when you die on the foreign world, you are going to reincarnate back into your home world, into a new baby, new life. That's a choice. But most of us chose to not do that because we are in the middle of our healthy lives, and we decide to go in stasis and got our soul separated from our bodies and sent to incarnate into a baby of a local planet where we want to help. That's most of us. There are centers with pods, so it's or tubes or whatever your technology is. Your body goes into like a hibernation. The life functions are kept, and because you are in a sort of a gel that keeps you alive, but the consciousness is not here anymore. It's gone. It's an empty vessel, an empty envelope, but still alive, heart beating and blood flowing, alive, but just nobody's here. And the soul, so you are in this, you go into this pod and you're put into sleep, and your consciousness is separated from your body, and you find yourself as a light being into a tunnel, and you are guided by employees, personal of the Council of Five, who know where you choose, but they know where they offer the options. So where are you fit? So they will guide you to the body you are meant to embody, incarnate into, but it's not random. Okay, these bodies have been prepared. I give you an example with Earth. All those who have a body who receives an envoy, an alien, envoy, these bodies have been prepared. It's not like random, boom, no. These bloodlines have been prepared from generation and generation and generations by the personnel of the Council of Five throughout positive abductions where the genetics were enhanced and activated, so that when the moment comes in time, the alien soul of a higher frequency, high density, and even different structure, molecular structure, comes in, the body is ready to receive it because it will be attuned with it. Okay. And even the soul that is coming in, you know, DNA has a frequency, and the souls, they are impregnated with the frequency of the last DNA that you embodied. So this DNA is also injected in the receptacle, the vessel, the body. So that's it. It's a match. If it wasn't a match, both suffer, like you're like the body dies with cancer, suffering. The soul is like suicidal and suffering. It's not working.
Because it's not a
But
coherent frequency.
no, it's dissonance.
It's a dissonance.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And so,
yes.
of course, with many of these positive abductions, quote, abductions, they will have you forget it until you're ready to slowly remember, right?
Yes, when the moment is right, and it's now. But there's also something, so this program is run by the Council of Five, and they have been training us in our dream state, taking our consciousness to ships to train them like kind of schools. But you don't remember. But when the time comes that you are activated, you remember the training you've been given as a kid. And that's something that's happening as well.
So they activate you. We as individuals don't have to worry about activating ourselves as long as we keep our frequencies as coherent as possible.
Yes, you need to do your best to keep your frequency high, be in tune with your being inside as much as you can. And I'm really repeating this meditation and this, but it needs to be repeated. And that's it. That's the job. Just do that. And activation will come in the right time. Do that. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. I'd say it's the answer to everything. Go within.
This is so fascinating. I've never read or heard anywhere else this level of detail. This is so wonderful. Please continue. No, seriously.
I have a good teacher. My genetic father, Anax, is in the Council of Five. He's one of the counselors. So he knows a bit of the story about the story.
Yes. Is it true that our oversoul or a higher self usually runs multiple fractals of itself in different worlds? If it's capable, or are we only one soul that aligns? I mean, how do I say this? One body, one avatar, one that aligns with our higher self or source.
A soul is unique. It's an individuation. You can fractal a soul, but it's not good. It will impoverish the soul and alter the consciousness and the awareness and the spiritual development. You can fractal a soul by technology. You can clone a body and fractal the soul of the person to animate another avatar of yourself. That is not natural and not right. Both will be conscious. Both will miss each other and be attracted to each other. Mm-hmm. And there will be a kind of macro hive consciousness between the both, because it's the same consciousness at the start.
So there's no spiritual concept that, oh yes, your higher self would be so bored with just this one part of you down here, so it's easy to operate 12 different avatars. That's
not natural. It's possible by technology, but it's not natural.
Okay.
As a shaman, I've been trained to do soul retrieval, and I tell you, when you go wherever to bring back the part of a soul of someone, and you bringing back into the body, the person, you nearly cry. It's so beautiful. The person feels complete again. And I mean, bring all the memories of the both together. I know how to do that.
That's so important.
Well, you understand that it's wrong to fractal. So it's wrong. You can fractal your soul yourself throughout trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And fractal a part of yourself and leave it in the ether.
Right.
With a kind of trauma energy bubble that's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you bring all the parts of yourself that fractioned off by trauma back to the wholeness of yourself. Okay. So there's no point, no matter how evolved you get, that you would divide your soul into other shards at all.
No, unless you really have a purpose and a mission, and you need to do that for a purpose, but and you do that artificially. But naturally, it's not happening in nature.
I love, because I've never heard that it was the Council of Five that helped everybody with this.
Yeah.
And that we choose our family, we choose, and most of the time they've been also kind of programmed or set up genetically. So it's really kind of this energetic engineering process to how much consciousness of our true self can we bring in and activate and bring our avatars, our human bodies up in coherence with it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's it. Perfect. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Amazing. And so right now is the time for activation, correct?
Yes. Interestingly, I can speak about my own experience. I was activated by my own genetic father, Anax, when I met him in 2018 on board a ship when I was taken. And he said that he was going to activate me. And I start my dark night of the soul as soon as I came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him so much. Who doesn't love Anax?
I know.
You know? Who doesn't love him? Love him.
Well, that picture you have, folks, she has a beautiful picture in one of her books where the hybrid children that we have been rescuing that look differently, that we cannot, bring back to Earth after rescuing them by the millions. When they saw Anax, because they looked a little bit like Anax, but they just went running to him to hug.
This was a very emotional scene that I could witness, because these kids, it was happening on the Excelsior, the battleship of the Federation. I was with Thorhan in the gardens, and we were chatting, and there was these hybrid kids that had been rescued. They were there in the gardens with kind of attendants, like not nurses, people attending them. And they were playing among each other, and they are scared of humans because they never seen humans before being rescued. They always were accustomed to see greys around them, and they half all look like greys anyway. And Anax showed up, and there was like kind of silence, and all the kids stopped playing and looked at him because Anax looks like a grey. He's not a grey, he's an Eggaroth, but he looks like a grey. And they found him familiar, but not only. Anax radiates love. Anax is love. That's who he is. And they walked towards him, they surrounded him, and he kneeled in the grass. He opened his arms, and they start to come and touch him, his head, his shoulders, his torso, his back, and they start to cuddle him. And they went, because they were nourishing themselves with this love, and they were in total trust with him because he looked like them. So
we're talking about the hybrids that are programmed by the Greys and partially the AI, even though we took the AI out and all of that. And then we're also talking about ourselves as hybrids, right? Because
yes.
we're 24 genetic species, which we're going to the next subject of our Seeders Founders. So we want to make sure that our audience doesn't think, oh, all hybrids are bad. And you might want to mention a few things about how you can differentiate a hybrid who is perhaps controlled that way by the Greys, and then a more organic, like us, because humans don't even realize they're hybrids themselves. So anyway, if you would clarify that.
Sure. So you and I and everyone who's listening, everyone on planet Earth, we are hybrids. From extraterrestrial species, okay? Human genome was seeded in this galaxy by the Intergalactic Confederation, the seeders or founders, first in the Lyra zone, and then it expanded a little bit everywhere, and they made sure that life was seeded afterwards in other places as on Earth. That was one. Then came different other species who decide to build colonies on Earth and mingle genetically with the local primates. And well, the Anunnaki, that was two. And you've got reptilians, you've got the refugees from the Lyran systems, that was 3 or 4 different races, and genomes from other galaxies. And so in total, it's 22 different genomes. None of them is local. Maybe the first original one, we can say, okay, it was local. Yeah, but maybe they did something with kind of, already existing animal here. I don't know the details. Mm-hmm. So these people, we call them the Patal as well. There's a race of them named Patal who gave the name to the 24 others, 23 others. So that's why we all look different. Also on Earth, there's all these different races. Take a Japanese person and a Congolese person and a Russian person. They look so different, like different planets.
Right.
In truth, no, it's very no. Now, not everyone on Earth has got the 22 genomes together. This is very rare. Okay, there are some bloodlines who have been enhanced with the 22 genomes, because now in this moment in time, they are meant to be activators, because DNA is an activator that will bring us to the story of the arcs afterwards.
Yes.
That would be a good transition.
Yes.
So here we are. We look fine. We look great, good, whatever our lives are, whatever, Then you have a different type of hybrids. This comes in a second group. In the 1950s has started to be created a human gray hybrid race. When the Nebu signed agreements with the Earth bodies in 1955, in the agreements, it was agreed that we would let these grays abduct people to do hybridization. It was signed. They start creating this hybrid race to replace humans on Earth. These ones, well, you can recognize them. Most of the time, not all, but most of the time, many of them are have been controlled by the hive. Now they're a bit feeling lost, and because the hive is disconnected. So how do you see that? The eyes. The eyes are the mirror of the soul. Who's in it? You can see it. Look at someone in the eyes. You can see, if it's gray, you can see something like a void or nothing. Because grays are hive consciousness, they're not individuated. So what you will see, it's the hive. If it's unplugged from the hive, it's like nothing. It's a lost soul, somebody in huge suffering, but there's something dark and black in their eyes. You see, even if they have clear eyes, you can see something dark inside. Like if a dark entity would inhabit a body, the same sensation. And when they are activated, these hybrid grays, they switch, the eyes change, they become darker, and they speak differently, like a bit of a robotic voice, or they're not themselves anymore. People who are very much controlled by ego in their behavior, very ego-driven, and the craving for, now they start to crave for belonging to something because they are disconnected from the hive. The craving for attention. That's a sign as well. but the soul, the eyes, big, wide eyes, usually, because gray hybrids have big eyes, thin face, big eyes. And it's quite, quite.
Do they speak
Yeah.
in monotones? Because I've met secret
Yes.
elders that have been so messed with that they don't even know they're messed with, and they almost just have one tone.
Like they speak like this, like that, like this, monotone, like repeating the same. Yeah, they do that as well. Yeah.
How many of those hybrids would you guesstimate are here at the same time us organic types are here? Like, do we have any idea?
Gray hybrids.
Shall we say ones we should be aware of versus all the different hybrids that are here for maybe treaties or whatever else? Yeah.
The grays, the Nebu have made hundreds of millions of them. I don't know where they are. A lot have been evacuated. They were keeping these armies underground in pods and growing them.
That was part of the cleanup.
The cleanup. There are things that, these brave soldiers of the Earth Alliance, I mean, there's going to be a monument for them in the near future, because these guys and these girls, man, what they've seen down there, it's unfathomable. It's like, can't even imagine all the genetic experiments. And so all these hybrids, all those who could be saved have been evacuated. A lot of them. That's why they've been busy, and they still are. So because they're not all on board ships, it's a lot of people, and and the ships anyway it's less safe anyway. They're gone now, the ships. So that was the evacuation of all the hybrids.
Yes,
mainly.
And the soldiers in post-traumatic stress are getting treated on the med beds, folks, first.
Yes,
everyone wants
mainly on the moon.
Yeah, on the moon, and everyone wants to know when the med beds are coming out. But I know they're being distributed secretly, but that also has to come out after a certain point of certain events in consciousness, correct?
The Earth Alliance and the White Hats are getting physically, concretely rid of the cabal. But as humans, we need to do our job. Stop consenting. Stop waiting. We've been groomed for millennia to wait for something to be saved. Cosmic event, meteorite, a flash, solar flash, Jesus come back, aliens save us. Oh my God, stop that.
Yeah. We save ourselves.
It's time you move.
Yeah. That's what maturity is. Maturity is, yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, because you are answering questions I've always wanted to know more details about, and are very, very, very important. So this brings us to the Seeders and Founders that have come back, every 12,000 years to check on us, their kids, so to speak. And so they're, as most of our subscribers know, they are now in the galaxy. And if there's no more you want to say about that, let's transition into their arcs and what's happening with the 9 buried ones on Earth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, these Seeder races, the intergalactic ones, there's a council of 24 cultures who are involved in this, the proper seeders, in seeding, propagating life and preserving life in the universe and in a group of galaxies. They are back because they want to be here for the next step for humanity, because we are their children. They made us, and they are very proud of us. That's now some things I've heard. They are very happy, very proud. They were concerned for a slight while that we wouldn't make it, that we were going to fall for it, but we did. And so there's because I know you like humor. There's a little bit of interaction between the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Intergalactic Confederation. The back and forth is it's mainly, in fact, the Galactic Federation of this galaxy who's complaining, saying, you create cultures, you groom them, you nourish them, and you make them ripe to be invaded by others, and we've got to do the job to protect them. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
be responsible, be responsible. You know, that's a bit of humor that goes on. So, there's a bit of a sarcasm.
Yeah,
like the cedars are back. Yes, well done, lads. Yes, where were you?
well, exactly.
Yeah, we have been fighting in the dumps on this freaking planet, and where were you?
I think there's a huge assumption, correct me if I'm wrong, that people just assume beings in higher dimensions know everything and know everything that's going on. And this, this is not true. So when Alex said, one of the things besides just a quick adding here that most of the subscribers know is that we all got on board when the Andromedan Council showed up and said, Houston, we have a problem. There's going to be tyranny 300 and some odd years in the future, and it's going to start on Earth, Moon, and Mars. So everyone's got to get on board and clean this up unless you want to end up being robots and take it over. But when I asked him privately, he said, well, so I said, did it start on Earth, Moon, and Mars? And he said, well, actually, it was leaking into the fifth density.
Yeah.
Okay. So my point is that gets their attention more. Those in the fifth are like, okay, this is going to contaminate everything because everything's interconnected. Right. But
absolutely.
Right. So, higher worlds can see lower worlds. It kind of trumps it, but it doesn't necessarily never assume folks that they know what's going on.
Yes, at certain points you need to intervene. When actually there's this law of non-intervention, this set of laws, were working very well until now, until the Nebu just got on the nerves of everyone. And they have modified a little bit this Prime Directive, which I was given a copy recently. That was like, oh my god! So now if you request assistance, you can be helped, and also they step back a little bit. If the world the world not to disturb is under threat of an other civilization of world, you are entitled to intervene. So they changed it
especially
to less
if
strict.
the humans didn't know.
Yes,
like having your representatives is one of the games they play, right? If the representatives agree, then fine. No, the humans didn't know, so they have right? Yeah.
So the thing now is to make the humans know by telling them. Now people know, the 1955 Eisenhower agreements. Well, not him, but his government. Now everybody knows about it. That was the job. Now, hey, wait a minute. I didn't sign for it.
Right.
Hey, I do not consent. It worked.
The law of compliance.
So that's what I've been telling everyone. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's continue with the all the arcs.
Yeah. Okay. So the Cedars, or what I call the Cedars, the Intergalactic Confederation, this group of 24 has arrived throughout the portal behind Jupiter. And they are here now stationed in our star system, in the orbit of Jupiter and Ganymede. A lot of people are on Ganymede. Few of them are in the Ashtar galactic station, the upper atmosphere of Jupiter. Well, they're there in the Jovian system, and a few ships now, four motherships have arrived in the outer orbit of Earth. They came a little bit closer, so things are happening. These people recognize a higher management, which is a universal kind of spiritual management. They call it the Nine. the 9 supra-consciousnesses. I'm going to talk about it after if you want, or I can now. Quickly, the 9, they are in the void. They are as one, but also fragmented in 9 individuated consciousness, but part of as one. It's like a mini hive of 9 consciousnesses. They are not into bodies. They're not. So they are plasmic. It's like I recently, because I'm in contact with them, I recently saw how they look like. And it's plasmic kind of blobs with colors. I'll put a nice painting in my book about that. And they are behind the curtain, I would say, behind, not part of any universe, any dimension, but can be everywhere at the same time. They're not a council. A council is a political structure or religious structure. They're not. They are plasmic consciousness. They're not called as council, only on Earth. But it's a mistake. It's not a council. Because council, what is a council? It's different entities, different personalities talking together to take decisions. No, they are one.
So beautiful.
So this is not a council. Yeah. So so they are there. They are interacting directly with the seeders, working in a program of spreading life and multiplying life in this galaxy and taking care of it. I met these people, the seeders on board ships. I got to know better a person named Una, who is an Altian. That's her culture, Altian, from Altia. And she's very tall and white skin, long white hair, very like Japanese eyes, but blue. Yes. And she's my contact, and we are linked. We are very linked. We have something that links us, and she has been the first to link me to the 9, to open the portal, the vortex, to connect me to the 9. And since then, I can do it myself. Well, they do it without her. I cannot contact them. They choose. I don't know how to do that. They pick the right moment, and they have their ways as well. So Una, yes, she's an Altian. I met only 5 races of them. There are 24, but that's who she is. She's an emissary like me.
And Altians are even more ancient, aren't they? Aren't they one of the?
Yes, these people. Oh yes, all these cultures are all more ancient than us in this galaxy. Yes. The galaxy, we haven't discovered it yet by Earth instruments. It's very far away.
It's a beautiful connection. And you had mentioned portals before, going way back to Nebu. Now that is the same as a stargate. So if you would just mention the importance of stargates, and I even believe the war in Iraq was partially about retrieving stargates and materials from the Museum of Baghdad and all kinds of other things. But
yes,
do you want to just say the importance of stargates and also the Galactic Federation, what they did and I don't know if you say ownership of stargates, but figuring out the frequencies, because that's a big thing. That and DNA and stargates are big importance out in the galaxy, don't you think?
Oh yes, I know what you mean. There are different types of stargate. DNA doesn't always come into to the picture, but stargate is different from a wormhole. A wormhole is a shortcut through space-time continuum. It's you go through hyperspace, and it's a linear travel, although it's a shortcut. Stargate is a teleportation object.
And that's what
device.
The Nebu wanted to locate the stargate going to us, right?
Yes.
That was the big threat, correct?
Yes, and they can go everywhere with that. Well, they can go everywhere anyway, but that transports them to different dimensions and in time as well. It's a time portal because it's a double vortex. Stargates are teleportation devices. You can just go through a stargate and you chance it, you go through it, and you have no idea where you're going to end up. The stargate will be in resonance with another place somewhere in the galaxy. That's natural stargates. One place in resonance with one other place. So you can go to this and jump to another and travel like this from galaxy to galaxy even. That's natural stargates. Now, you can reconfigure them. But that's the one that's behind Jupiter. That's a natural one. Big one, ships can go through it. This one, you can, any stargate, you can reconfigure them by changing the location, the destination location by frequency key. Frequency key, it's made with sound and geometry, holographic technology. I wouldn't know exactly what a frequency key is, but I know more or less that. It's a dialing number that you broadcast onto the stargate by beam, and it transforms the liquid. It's a dark matter, and the liquid is going to reconfigure to destination. That's natural stargates. Now, does DNA can activate stargates? Yes, if they are artificial stargates created artificially with technology by a certain people with a certain DNA. So they will attune the stargate regarding to their DNA, and anyone with the same DNA can use it. It's a safety protocol. So now on the arcs that have been started to be unearthed on Earth, they're all linked to all together. Excuse me, I need water.
Yes, like Jean Goyen and Michael Sala's insider JP both carry the DNA that could activate the opening of those arcs, as well as finding portals inside. So yeah.
Yes, and it's sorry, it's very funny that I need to drink water talking about stargates, because you need water to go through stargates. And you too. So let's jump through it and continue. These stargates in these arcs are artificially created by different ETs. Different ETs is not one race, There's going to be some Cedar races. There's going to be Anunnakis. There's going to be even Black League have arcs, even different, because there has been different colonies of ETs on Earth who came with these ships and left them there. Okay, and these ships were carrying all the archives of their worlds because they were refugees. So that's what they are. There's a system of portals linking all those who were there, put there by the Cedars. So you need to have the 22 DNAs to be an activators, and that's what I was telling earlier on. The people who have the 22 genomes, 22 genes, are the activators. So they can use these arcs and they can pilot it even, And so this Stargate, you see the movie Stargate, which is disclosure, self-disclosure, you see it as a disc. A Stargate is, in fact, it's a bubble. It's a sphere. And it's a floating liquid. And this liquid, they call it dark matter. The particles of this liquid are micro vortices. It implodes. And so when you go through it, you feel like billions of needles going through your body. You feel the billions of little vortices of the matter. That's why you feel like needles-like.
Just for some seconds, though, not long, right?
No, not long. I've never been through a portal, neither a Stargate, but I have been teleported, and I could feel that with teleportation. So because a Stargate is a teleportation device, it's kind of the same.
That's beautiful. So there's portals inside these arcs.
Yes.
And, a long time ago, a friend was very upset about the amount of animals that are going extinct on planet Earth. And, a lot of times we'll say something we don't even know that we know. And so I was really excited when my whole soul just got very excited about these arcs. And I told her, and I'm sure she thought I was, completely non-empathic, but I said, I feel for them too. But we have aboard ships every single DNA and creation that we have developed since in creation through terraforming. Is that true?
Yes. So
Okay.
the all the life, plant life, animal life, more evolved life, minerals, everything about any world is archived somewhere in another galaxy. There's a database somewhere that has all life codes of the whole universe.
Exactly. That is so cool. Not to mention, not even getting into the Hall of Records. That's a whole other thing, because these arcs are going to reveal. Do you feel like I do that they're going to be a beneficial truth disclosure?
Yes. The cabal needs to go first.
Yes. We're finishing up cleaning those guys up. Yeah.
This technology will not fall in the wrong hands.
Right.
We need to finish the job first.
And that's your answer, folks who've been writing in and going, when are these med beds coming out? When are these med beds coming out? Is that will come
when you stop waiting for them.
Yes, exactly.
Good. It's like, have you ever driven in a car with kids behind? Mm-hmm. Are we yet there?
Yeah. Mm. But again, it's event driven. So we're finishing cleanup and then and I just picture, I'm probably wrong, I picture all of these arcs just lifting up into the sky as a reflection of the advanced consciousness, so that it will be a very gentle wake-up call to humanity all across the world. And also, I might add, then you can open up all these arcs that will have every single technology and holographic things that will tell you the truth of your history and wonderful things without getting into trouble the ones who suppressed it for whatever reasons. In other words, there could be some strategies like, oh, look what we found now, rather than look what we've suppressed for a long time, right? But as you said, it was also to make sure the consciousness was at a certain level and that it would not be in the wrong hands.
Yes, exactly. And you were mentioning halls of records. Halls of records are not arcs. There's a mix because, this is new to the understanding of everyone. These ships, huge ships, some were discoidal, some were long, depending on the colony, arrived at different times on Earth before the last ice age. And they were, most of them, refugees or colons settling there. They left colonies. They left their ships there. Many left their ship before they left or were exterminated or whatever. Where they landed the ship, which was there were arcs containing all the as I say, the library of the life of their world that they could recreate genetically on a new world. That's still there because they built their colonies around the arcs. So everywhere you have these arcs, you have not just one ship buried, you have a whole city buried around. And that's what you call the halls of records. Everywhere you have a hall of record, look for the ship. There's a ship not far. And where there's a ship, there's a hall of record somewhere. Some ships have the archives in it, but most of the times, they build around. Like in Antarctica, for instance, there's a whole huge complex around. And in Egypt as well, where I've been a few times, yes.
Well, yes, because you did share publicly the time, understandably, you got claustrophobia when Hawass
Yes.
invited you in there. And I also know Jean has been to the Holo Records under this, let's see, Holo Records in Giza and Tibet, which I think Michael will talk about later. Michael Sala is a wonderful researcher, as we all know. But somehow I remember, and you may not wish to share this yet, so that's fine. Michael Sala briefly mentioned that you were taken to the ancient Holo Records twice by Thorhan. Can
Yes.
you share anything about that?
Yes, and I will go back. In fact, fourth time soon. Yes, I've been underneath, and I was taken by him in 1991. Before I went to Egypt as an archaeologist and met with Zahir Hawass, who took me in under it. Thorhan took me there in 1991. He showed me the whole of records with the different rooms and the different devices that were in them. He showed me how to activate holographic data on one device. It was a crystal device. So I got a lot of information from there. And there were 4 devices in this room. And he said, one day you will come back I show you about the 3 other ones. It's not time now. So he showed me stuff and brought me back. Recently, when I had another visit there in 2020, he took me there. And well, in fact, sorry, it wasn't Thorhan, it was Anax. He took me there and I was shown the second holographic device, how to activate it and how to see all the data that was in it. And 2 were left. And I went recently, 2 weeks ago, by myself.
Ooh.
Because, yes, I know now how to do that. And as I activated the 3rd device and read that data, this time there was something different in the place. Usually it's a long, dark corridor. It's under Giza, and there are rooms on the side. There's an ambient light that is very, very weird, but just dimmed. And at that time, 2 weeks ago, it was different. The place felt different, of course, because the arc had activated in the nearby. Mm. I saw a green light at the end of the corridor, and I went there. And what's happening? That was never there, this light. And I saw stairs going down and with more light, more intense. And I walked down the stairs and there was another corridor, very long, and there was light at the end of the corridor. And I went, okay, that seems endless. I'm going to go back to that. I'm here to read the 3rd crystal device, and I'll come back for that. And then I understood, well, there must be a ship right over there, because that's what it is. There's an arc there. I know that it has activated and it's there. Went back. I looked into the holograms of the 3rd device, came back, and was back home. And the following morning, I received an email from Jean-Charles Moyen. He said, "You won't believe that. I was teleported with Victor under the Sphinx, and I saw this, and I was in the ark, and it was green light, and there was this and that." And I went, no kidding. I was next door.
They keep you guys busy, don't they?
And Jean-Charles, well,
yeah.
I mean, he's very excited and emotional. He went, "Oh my God!" Oh yeah. What to say?
It's a great story. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. So were all these 3 times, like where Thorin showed you, where you went by yourself, 4th time, yes, and earlier by Hawass?
I have the 22. Yes. I have the 22 DNA. I'm an activator. Yes. Activator for the Giza one.
Good telepathy. Yeah. Well done. Okay, I didn't know if you were allowed to state that publicly.
And actually, I had a shock a few years ago. I did my ancestry.com DNA test. Okay. And when it came back, I was online on the site. I went, oh, that's not working. What's wrong with it? It was showing the whole world. I had connection on all the continents. I have DNA connection to everywhere on Earth, all the main continents. And it's not working. And then I looked at the results. I went, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am a super mix. That's why I have the 22 DNA. I'm a super mix. And people like Jean-Charles, I'm sure if he does his ancestry.com, he will just fall from his chair. And that's it.
Yes. You want like maximum diversity of everything. And then you act as this coherent integrator within your own body of integrating that, which is a metaphor for what we're doing for the planet in general. So it makes sense. It's just beautiful. So those were all at the Sphinx, though, that you went to, or were they also other places?
Yes. No, I only visited the one at the Sphinx. It seems that it's the one I'm meant to be, where I'm meant to be.
Well, look at how you started there in archaeology. That's no mistake as an archaeologist. I had this job on the Giza Plateau for the year was like just 2 weeks. It was, and come on, I'm going to show you something. Yes.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
He took me under the Sphinx. I went like, what?
Yes. Yeah. It's one of those things
I have photos.
Yes, I know. We put them up. You know, one of my favorite places of all times, I did 2 shows several years ago with Peter Moon, was the Transylvania series books and the Busege, amazing underneath the Romanian pyramid and stuff. I love those because not only is the furniture there for the giants, but what did Jean-Charles. Yeah, Jean-Charles. What did he find in one of the arcs? Quote, this was at the Vostok arc, right? In Russia. Okay. I approached one of the tubes, which are stasis tubes, folks. And when I approached, it reacted by lighting up. Why? Because he had the DNA, right?
I was there. No, I forget I was with him, but I was there just to be a witness, to assert his testimony. That's what Thorhan said. We were teleported, Jean-Charles and myself. Jean-Charles was teleported in Ireland, and we were both taken on board a ship on the Excelsior. And Thorhan was there, and he took us both then to Vostok. And he said to me, "You're just here as a witness. And you will tell your side of the story when the moment will come."
Yes.
And Jean-Charles remembered at the right moment. And I said, yeah.
Yes. Oh, that is so, see?
I have nothing to do with Vostok Arch. I was just there to confirm.
Yes.
But I saw Jean-Charles going to the pods. And as he approached, the thing lit up.
Yes.
In blue.
It recognizes the DNA. It's the protection the seed put in. And the structure seemed alive. And as you know, that takes us into another subject for a later time, the whole crystal life thing. But the point is also in the stasis chamber are tall beings. Some are giants. Some have bluish skin, wearing a midnight blue suit was what he said, and had a symbol representing a triangle with a constellation inside. What was the constellation?
I don't know. Jean-Charles should tell. Thorhan told me that it was the Patal who are it was Patal, so intergalactic people.
So cool. Yeah. So what's your feeling? I know you can't probably say the full thing, but you've been so generous with your time, so I feel like it's time for us to wind down. What is your feeling about these arcs coming forward? Multiple reasons for it.
they have activated because their creators are back. So it's a frequency resonance. Now they carry a lot of wonderful technology that will help us improve our life. And when we will be ready, that means we've got rid of the parasite ones, can call them like that. This technology will be unlocked and available for us.
Yes.
And
then,
you know, I've seen on board, there's things as well they brought with them, these seeders. I've seen plants, I've seen vegetables that carry very nutritive and healing properties that are going to be given to us, not to fall in the wrong hands. So
oh, so much
on the
beds and everything. Thank you so much for your generosity of time and for being willing to dig deep into the details so that people can experience and put the pieces together, and hopefully folks discover if you yourself are a starseed, which I'm sure. Now, with that point being made, though, I don't want those that aren't starseeds are part of the envoy program, because isn't everyone galactic in a way, or
yes, we're all hybrid. We all come from somewhere in the universe, you know. We are all, you know, but then planets have soul matrices where you are going to reincarnate in the same sphere of your planet. And until your consciousness has developed enough that you are able to go and incarnate on other planets in other soul matrices. So there's a lot of people like this on Earth, Earthlings, from Earth soul matrix. Although these bodies have different DNAs from everywhere, the soul is something different. So they're from the soul matrix, Earth matrix. These ones, well, this is the majority of Earth. That's the Earthlings we are coming to save. That's the real deal. And these people, they've been reincarnating. Listen to that. They've been reincarnating since the start in these fantastic bodies. These bodies have a potential. Oh my God, 22 alien DNAs, all carrying psychic powers, because DNA carries the psychic powers and the memory of a people, of a species. We have 22 of them. Yeah. Well, these Terran Earth souls who have been reincarnating into these bodies since the start, they are super powerful. They are amazing. It has forged their light beings with something very special. That's what we call royalty. And these Earthlings, be proud to be what you are, because we came to save you. We are from one species. You are from 22 species, and maybe even more. I mean, you are the real deal. You are the future. You are the ones who will build this Earth. We just came to activate you.
See, this has
and to wake you up.
Been explained clearly like that. And I didn't want a polarization or anything of, oh, you got your starseeds here, and if you're not a starseed, somehow you're like, you know, not evolved enough. So we needed that explained. So there's no, you know, insecure reactions there.
Yes, because the stars, I noticed it's a starseed phenomenon become an escapism phenomenon, that you don't want to be here because it's so depressing. You want to be an extraterrestrial. Well, stop that. Embrace who you are. Maybe your soul comes from another planetary matrix. Maybe your soul comes from this planetary matrix. If it comes from here, oh my God, just explore your potential, and you're gonna be first to have mind blown. I mean, wow.
And that's the note we're going to leave on. Okay, so we should put starseed power and earthling power. Woo!
Oh.
Thank you so much, Elena. And why don't you give people information of, I'm sure they know you, but how to contact you and the things that you offer, okay?
Thank you, Mary Lee. So, well, I have a website, elenadanaan.org, O-R-G, where you can find everything. It centralizes everything. My author page with all my books, workshops I sell, and T-shirts and articles and a lot of things. I have actually a new page where I put all the transcript of all the channelings I was doing in the past and all the messages, and I explain who the people I'm in contact with are. There's a very detailed description for each of them, so check it out. And yeah, that's my website. And all my books are on Amazon as well. And I have a YouTube channel on my name. And you see a lot of interesting goodies, free meditations, a lot of things.
It's wonderful, Elena. Thank you so much. I've missed you, but I know you've been working hard and you have gone over and above answering questions that I've had so long. And this is a time of great celebration, And
Yes.
I want to sign off by saying stay tuned, but because as a joke, what that actually can mean is keeping our frequencies high in this transition time.
Yes, I always say high five.
Yeah. Says
high five.
Stay tuned to our channels and keep your frequency up, folks. And thank you so much for all of you being curious. And I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I have. So much love, Elena. And we'll talk a little later. Here's to our assured victory, upward and onward, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.